Hello everyone, here we go again with Vala Aroma, me Yuri Slavas. Greetings for everyone who is watching our show Moneylogy. Just as a reminder, this show we are doing on the name of Starfish Academy, our company with a mission to help people to achieve financial freedom through business or investing while living a harmonious life. So, hi Vala.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, because it can be from different sides of the world. So, as always, we
Exactly.
have a topic for you which we prepared to discuss, and also you will be able to hear and learn again one term from Starfish vocabulary. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions in the end of the show. Or also, if you have any suggestions about upcoming topics for the next shows, you can also comment it in the comments below the video. So today's topics we would like to discuss and talk with Valo is habits, and especially habits used by successful people. Because usually a lot of people asking, so what are the differences between those who are successful and those who are not? So what could help me to become also a successful person? And actually, quite often it comes also to quite simple things done by people daily as a routines, as their daily actions, which basically is habits. So, Vala, what are your thoughts about it? What are these like main habits common to successful people all around the world?
Well, I think, success for me means, living an intentional life, which means that, it has to be, like we call it, in harmony. And as there are different areas of life, like inner world and health and money and relationships and fulfillment. So we need to, balance it, and we need to find ways how to create habits for all five areas on a daily basis. And sometimes it's not so easy because our focus can be more on one area, and we just may lack the focus in other areas. So if you really want to be successful, I think then we need to have this intentional living in all five areas of life. And then the next question is, of course, what are the daily routines you can establish in each of these areas?
Exactly.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, what comes to my mind is actually organization or to be organized, because what you also said that living intentionally means that you have always precise direction where you're heading and what are you doing and why you are doing. So it comes with the goals or your like dreams, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, and this goals basically helps you to select what is appropriate to do in each day and what's not. So I would say that the first thing is basically ability to plan your goals, to set your goals, and also to build up the plan how to achieve these goals. So this is probably one of the first habits which comes to my mind, and at least I'm trying also myself to always plan short-term goals as well as long-term goals. We even have a routine in our family that each quarter we review the goals which we plan and do some adjustments. Let's say sometimes it can be that some of the goals are already achieved, and also maybe some of the goals should be refined and reviewed and maybe adjusted to the longer term, or maybe the goal itself is not valid anymore. So reviewing, planning, and building action plans.
Yeah, and I think also that intellectually a lot of people understand that habits are good, but it's sometimes quite difficult to implement them. And I mean, eating is a good example. We know how what means healthy eating, but still occasionally we make these mistakes and we're not as healthy. So one of the things I've learned with establishing habits is that you have to establish it in pieces. You cannot make this 180 degrees turn from one day and then hope that it will stick, because we ourselves are our biggest competition and our biggest enemy. And one of the things I've seen working is that when you leave at least a small bit of the old habit still there. So this eating example was that if you want to change your diet, then leave this one day for you to eat like you did in the past, and then change it in the 6 days of the week. And so it's in actually in all areas. So if we kind of go against us like full 180 degrees, then sometimes it's really hard to push it forward.
I totally agree on it. But because our show is called Moneylogy, yeah, so let's say thinking about the financial area, what could be these habits which people should do each day or maybe each month in order to become more successfully financially?
Yeah, I think the first thing comes to my mind is definitely the saving habits. And I mean, there's a lot of people who understand that saving makes sense, but still there's very few people who do that. And one of the concepts that we also teach in Starfish is paying yourself first, which means that you're basically establishing yourself a habit. And when the income comes in, you just allocate these funds to different other accounts that you have decided that's important for you. And then after you make the allocations, then you also have to be disciplined enough not to take the money back from there. And this is another example how people agree something with themselves, and then once conditions change, they're going to go against the rules that they set for themselves. So I think saving habits is probably one of the most valuable habits to have around money, because otherwise you just spend everything, and actually the fortunes are made when you can build yourself a capital and then learn and start investing.
Exactly. Yeah. So savings is definitely one of these habits we should be there. But I would say the next habit also in financial area should be also taking action, because if you only save your money, then as we all know, savers are losers, because
Yes.
currency is devaluated and basically this money will be not the same amount in the future. So you need also to take the next step, do something with the money you save in order to employ the money, in order to force them work for you through business or investing. And it means that you need to take action to seek for opportunities, for possibilities, and also to use these possibilities which you think is suitable for you.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I mean, and there can be a lot of habits around, for example, your health. Is that if you decide in your mind that you want to go and have an exercise like 3 times a week, then do you keep your agreements, or do you find excuses why not to go there? And this is also one thing I realized, it is that as you can pay yourself first with money, you can pay yourself first with time as well, which means that you allocate the time for the exercise first, and then you plan everything around that, and then magically you have time for your training.
Exactly, yeah. So paying yourself first with not only money but time. And
Yes.
by the way, if you talk about financial freedom, it's also paying yourself first with time first, because if you become financially free, or at least like a partially financially free, like we say, financial wealthy, it means that you're taking your time back and you have more time. So it's also a capital, which is probably even more valuable than money, because time is limited and money is unlimited in our world.
Yeah, and then as we progress, then time becomes even more valuable, and then we need to use it smartly and plan it smartly.
Exactly. So there are probably more habits which could be named as those you could select to use in your life, but the things with which you need to start probably is still planning the action plan towards your goal, paying yourself first, and taking action also with the saving and all these things in order to achieve financial freedom and other goals, not only in financial area, like we talked a lot about. Probably time and also health and relationships are even more valuable than money, but money will help you just to have more time for this. And today in our Starfish Academy vocabulary section, we would like to present you the term, actually two terms, and difference between these terms is speculation and investing. And let's take the example with real estate. So what is the difference between speculation in real estate and investing? So speculation means that you take a real estate property and you are expecting that you will sell it later for a higher price in near future. So let's say you take one piece of real estate, do something with this real estate, raise the price, and sell it to another person. In other words, it also is called flipping. And investing in real estate means that you actually act to buy the real estate property with expectation to generate a steady income or profit in the long term. So it means that usually this is the rental income which you receive several times from the same property, or even can receive it for forever even without having the money in this property, but still get the rental income. And if you do it several times, you can have several properties and receiving income from these properties constantly each month or each week, depending on the property. So what are your thoughts about these two approaches to real estate investing, Vala? Which you think is more valuable or more or less risky for people?
Well, I think both options are there, and there are both types of people focusing on these things. But I think the true investor is still investing for the long term, and also if you think about the speculation that you buy something and you hope that the price will go up, then once you sell the deal, you're again out of the market, so you need to start again. But with investing, you might find it longer, but make one investment and keep it for the rest of your life. So it's like a totally different strategy. I can't say one is right, one is wrong. I think there are some people who are really good at speculation and also can make a lot of money there. But yeah, I personally like this investing because it's more for the cash flow, not for the capital gains. And once you acquire these assets, on top of each other, then eventually your passive income will be greater than your expenses and your financial freedom.
Yeah, and at the same time, you will be sleeping well. Because if you're focusing on capital gain through speculation, let's say, sometimes can happen so that you won't be able to get profit because the market is down, and you need to wait, or you will be forced to have some loss. Or at the same time, let's say you sold a property and then you still can't sleep at night because you have a lot of money and you think where to put this money because you understand that inflation needs the money, so you need to look for another property. So I would say I like basically Robert Kiyosaki once said that speculation is pretty similar like killing the cow. So basically you kill the cow, you sell the meat, and you need to find a new cow. And
Yes.
investing is basically like milking the cow. So you just sell the milk, but the cow is still there.
Exactly, and also I think the speculation is a lot to do with predicting the market, and as we know from this year, for example, that markets are pretty unpredictable.
Yep.
Of course, if you focus on one area or one asset class, you can become pretty good on the prediction, but still you have no control of the market. With investing long term, the risks are definitely lower. Of course, your rentals can change and can come down, but they will never go to zero. While with speculation, you can lose all the money. So yeah, there are different strategies. I wouldn't say one is right, one is wrong, but I think the true investors are more investing than speculating.
Yeah, in this case, sometimes they still speculate, but for them it's more
Yeah,
like exception from the strategy than the strategy
it's
itself.
like a play money. You,
Yeah.
you can always play with your 5 or 10%, and it's okay if you lose, but you don't build your investing strategy around that.
Okay, yeah, that's totally agree. So this is two terms we would like to present to you today. And like I said, if you have any questions you want to ask us and want us to answer it right away in the show, just comment below the video and we will be more than happy to do so. Also, if you have any questions later when you watch a recording, you can still do the same, because then we will be able to answer your questions in the next shows. And if you have any suggestions for the topics you would like us to touch, to discuss, to present our thoughts on it, also comment below the video and we will be more than happy to include these topics in the next shows. So for today, this is the topics we would like to discuss. If you still have a few minutes, because I see people watching the show, to comment your questions, and then we will answer them today. If not, you can still do so, and the next show we will cover it. So let's.
Or you can share your thoughts or experiences based on the topics we were discussing here.
Yeah, of course. Also, if you agree or disagree with us, it's also pretty valuable for us, because we are always happy to read different opinions, because there is no one truth in the world. Each of us have their own truth, and only through discussion we can find basically better truth and expand our context, how we understand the information. And by the way, if you want to find the previous shows, you can find them on YouTube, also Facebook. If you go on Facebook and find Starfish Academy, also YouTube Starfish Academy channel, subscribe, and you will be able to watch all the shows here, and as well you'll be reminded about the upcoming shows first. So I see that we don't have comments right now. We will be looking for the comments to the next show, and also with suggestions from you, those who are watching our shows. The goal is to create these shows more and more valuable for you. So thank you for your time, for watching the show live or watching the recording. And let's meet in the next show, the same time, same day, Tuesdays, and you will be able to ask us any questions you have. Thank you, Val, also for your time, and see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.